Harlequin's Revenge. Prologue: The Quiet Town. In the remote town of Rosewood, nestled deep within the heartland, life moved at a leisurely pace. It was a quaint, picturesque place where everyone knew each other, and the most exciting events were the annual fair and the 4th of July parade. It was the kind of town where secrets were few and far between, or so the residents believed. But Rosewood harbored a dark secret, one that had been buried for decades beneath layers of normalcy and small-town charm. The legend of Harlequin, the malevolent clown who once terrorized the town, had faded into obscurity, remembered only by a few old-timers who spoke of it in hushed tones, if at all. Chapter 1: The Return of the Fair. Summer had arrived, and with it, the much-anticipated annual fair. The townsfolk buzzed with excitement, preparing for the festivities with a fervor that bordered on frantic. Stalls were erected, rides assembled, and the air filled with the sweet scent of cotton candy and popcorn. Among those eager for the fair's return was a group of friends: Jack, an aspiring writer; Emily, an artist; Ben, a history buff; Claire, a nurse; and Tom, the local mechanic. They had grown up together in Rosewood and shared a bond forged by years of shared experiences and adventures. As they wandered the fairgrounds, they marveled at the colorful attractions and nostalgic sights. Jack, ever the observer, couldn't shake an uneasy feeling. Something about the fairgrounds felt off, as if a dark undercurrent lurked beneath the festive exterior. Chapter 2: The Clown. On the first night of the fair, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a dusky purple, the friends noticed a new addition to the attractions: a tall, imposing tent adorned with garish colors and eerie, flickering lights. A sign above the entrance read Harlequin's Hall of Wonders. Curiosity piqued, they decided to investigate. Inside, they were greeted by a tall, gaunt figure in a tattered clown costume. His face was painted in grotesque, exaggerated features, and his eyes glittered with a malevolent gleam. He introduced himself as Harlequin and beckoned them inside. The Hall of Wonders was a twisted labyrinth of distorted mirrors, unsettling exhibits, and macabre displays. The friends navigated the maze, their unease growing with each step. Harlequin seemed to appear and disappear at will, his sinister laughter echoing through the tent. As they exited the hall, Jack's unease had deepened into outright dread. He couldn't shake the feeling that Harlequin was more than just an eccentric performer. His friends, however, laughed off his concerns, attributing it to his overactive imagination. Chapter 3: The Disappearances. The next morning, the town was abuzz with gossip. 2 teenagers had gone missing after visiting the fair the previous night. Their families were frantic, and the police began a search, combing through the fairgrounds and surrounding areas. Jack couldn't help but feel a connection between the disappearances and Harlequin. He shared his suspicions with Ben, who agreed to help investigate. They delved into the town's history, uncovering old newspaper clippings and stories about the original Harlequin, a deranged clown who had terrorized Rosewood decades ago before mysteriously disappearing. As the fair continued, more people vanished. The town's cheerful atmosphere turned to one of fear and suspicion. Jack and Ben became obsessed with uncovering the truth, convinced that Harlequin was somehow linked to the disappearances. Chapter 4: The Hidden Past. Their research led them to an old, abandoned house on the outskirts of town, rumored to have once belonged to the original Harlequin. Inside, they found a trove of disturbing artifacts: old clown costumes, faded photographs, and a journal filled with cryptic writings. The journal revealed the true horror of Harlequin. He had been a performer driven mad by a tragic accident that claimed the lives of his family. Consumed by grief and rage, he had turned to dark rituals, seeking to harness supernatural powers to exact revenge on the town he blamed for his misfortune. As Jack and Ben pieced together the journal's secrets, they realized that Harlequin had succeeded in his quest. He had bound his spirit to the land, returning every few decades to claim new victims and perpetuate his reign of terror. Chapter 5: The Confrontation. Armed with their newfound knowledge, Jack and Ben decided to confront Harlequin. They gathered their friends, explaining what they had discovered and urging them to join the fight. Reluctantly, Emily, Claire, and Tom agreed, driven by a mix of fear and determination. They returned to the fairgrounds that night, armed with makeshift weapons and a plan to trap Harlequin. As they entered the Hall of Wonders, they felt a palpable shift in the air, as if the tent itself was alive and aware of their presence. Harlequin appeared, his laughter a cacophony of madness and malevolence. The friends fought bravely, but Harlequin seemed invincible, his powers fueled by the very land he haunted. Desperation set in as they realized they were no match for him. In a last-ditch effort, Jack remembered a passage from Harlequin's journal, describing a ritual to break the curse. With Emily's artistic skills and Ben's historical knowledge, they recreated the ritual, using symbols and incantations from the journal. As they performed the ritual, the ground shook, and the air filled with a deafening roar. Harlequin screamed in rage and pain, his form flickering and distorting. The friends held their ground, chanting the incantations with all their might. Chapter 6: The Aftermath. With a final, ear-splitting scream, Harlequin vanished, his essence consumed by the ritual's power. The tent collapsed around them, and the fairgrounds fell silent. The friends emerged, battered but victorious, as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon. The disappearances ceased, and the town slowly returned to normal. The fair was dismantled, its memory tainted by the horrors that had unfolded. Jack, Emily, Ben, Claire, and Tom remained haunted by their experience, their bond strengthened by the ordeal they had survived. They vowed to protect Rosewood, ensuring that Harlequin's curse would never return. As they grew older, they passed down the story to future generations, a cautionary tale of darkness and resilience. Years later, the friends gathered once more, now with children of their own. They stood at the edge of the old fairgrounds, now a peaceful park, and recounted their tale. The legend of Harlequin had become part of the town's history, a reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of even the most idyllic places. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the park, a faint whisper carried on the wind, a reminder that some evils never truly die. But the friends knew that as long as they remained vigilant, Rosewood would endure, its legacy of courage and unity shining brightly against the encroaching darkness. Chapter 7: Shadows of the Past. Though the friends had managed to vanquish Harlequin, his presence lingered in their minds. Jack, now an accomplished writer, often found himself drawn back to the old fairgrounds, seeking inspiration for his stories. Emily, whose artistic talents had grown, painted hauntingly beautiful pieces that echoed the events of that fateful summer. One crisp autumn evening, Jack returned to the fairgrounds alone. The park was empty, and a sense of calm had settled over the place where chaos once reigned. As he wandered through the park, he stumbled upon a peculiar sight, a small, weathered box half buried in the ground. Curiosity got the better of him, and he pried open the box. Inside, he found a tattered piece of paper covered in cryptic symbols and a faded photograph of Harlequin. The discovery sent a chill down his spine, and he felt a familiar sense of unease. Chapter 8: The Warning. Jack shared his discovery with the others, who were equally disturbed. Ben, always the researcher, spent countless hours deciphering the symbols on the paper. He concluded that it was a warning, a message from the past meant to alert them to an impending threat. The friends realized that Harlequin's curse was not entirely broken. The dark rituals he had performed had left a residual energy that could be reawakened. Determined to protect their town once more, they began researching ways to permanently sever Harlequin's connection to Rosewood. Chapter 9: The Ritual. Their investigation led them to a hidden cave on the outskirts of town, where ancient symbols were etched into the walls. The cave was a place of power, and they believed that performing a final ritual there could end Harlequin's influence once and for all. As they prepared for the ritual, strange occurrences began plaguing the town once more. Shadows moved in the corners of their vision, and unsettling whispers echoed in the night. The friends felt the weight of their task pressing down on them, but they knew they had no choice. Chapter 10: The Final Battle. On the night of the ritual, the friends gathered in the cave. The air was thick with tension as they began chanting the incantations they had painstakingly translated. The cave seemed to pulse with a dark energy, and they could feel Harlequin's presence growing stronger. Suddenly, Harlequin materialized before them, his form more menacing than ever. The friends fought bravely, their combined strength and determination pushing them forward. As they completed the ritual, the cave erupted in a blinding light, and Harlequin let out a final, agonizing scream. Chapter 11, Peace Restored. The light faded, and the friends found themselves standing in the cave, now silent and still. Harlequin was gone, his essence finally vanquished. The residual energy that had plagued Rosewood dissipated, leaving behind a sense of peace. The town slowly recovered from the ordeal, and the friends felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced their deepest fears and emerged victorious, their bond stronger than ever. Jack continued to write, his stories now filled with hope and resilience. Emily's art flourished, capturing the beauty and strength of their journey. Years passed, and Rosewood thrived. The memory of Harlequin became a distant legend, a cautionary tale told to children around campfires. The friends, now older and wiser, continued to protect their town, passing down their knowledge to the next generation. One summer evening, as they gathered in the park, they looked out over the peaceful town they had saved. The sun set, casting a warm glow over Rosewood, and they knew that their legacy of courage and unity would endure, no matter what challenges lay ahead. In the distance, a faint whisper carried on the wind, a reminder of the darkness they had faced and the strength they had found within themselves. They had overcome the malevolent force that had threatened their town, and they were ready to face whatever the future held. Rosewood stood as a testament to their bravery, a town united against the shadows, forever vigilant and strong.
Don't forget to subscribe.